are live at T-Mobile Park where the Mariners are getting set for Game 2 against the Colorado Rockies and hopefully locking up the AL West for the first time since 2001. And Ryan, we now get a chance to speak with a man. I refer to him as our white whale. We've been trying to get this guy on the show in spring training, trying to get him on through the season. We were going to send Adam Ray down there to sweet talk him into coming on the show with us, but he's here with us. He's got the headsets on. Talk about the one, the only George Kirby is here with us. How are you, man?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing great. Would that have worked if we'd sent Adam in there and he said, hey, they're really cool guys. You should go talk to them. Would that have had any impact?
Yeah, maybe.
I had to pull him out of the scrum last night, having popping champagne, say, hey, George, I need you on Root Sports. So I've already bugged him enough. Here he is, day two. Love it.
Hell yeah.
Well, George, we appreciate it, man. And I just want to get I'm sure you were asked this a million times last night, but I didn't hear the answer. Just in that moment last night, leading up to the big hit from Naylor, things weren't going great for the team. It was, as Cal came out and said, he's like, yeah, that was bad baseball. But in that moment, when that hit took place, what was your reaction? Where were you sitting there on the rail of the dugout? Where were you, and what was your reaction?
Yeah, I was on the railing in the dugout. It was kind of one of those moments where you kind of knew he was going to come through right there, and I think everybody believed that too. But yeah, like, you know, getting Naylor at the deadline and, you know, him coming up, he's the guy that kind of gets the huge hit right there is, I don't know, it's pretty cool to see. But, yeah, it was unbelievable. At that point, I knew when Munoz would go in and he'd lock it down for us. So.
Hey, George, Logan last night mentioned you guys had like a team meeting in Tampa when you kind of at that low point in that road trip. Can you take us back to that team meeting? Was that like a player-led meeting? Was that Dan Wilson running that meeting? Was that what was said? What was the big emphasis of that to get you to where you guys are at now?
Yeah, I'd say it was kind of like a whole org meeting, but you know, it was just like it was obvious we weren't playing that well. I think it was just something that needed to be said, you know, to kind of get us over that hump or just stop thinking about, you know, the bad losses or whatever. And kind of just come together. And, you know, I think a lot of times everyone focused on like the big goal, but I think what we've been doing really well is just taking one game at a time. And I think that's kind of how you get to the end of the road where you want to go instead of really looking at like the big picture. I think just one game at a time. And that was kind of the message in that meeting, I'd say. You know, obviously we're not paying our potential, but you know, just keep sticking to it, you know, one game at a time, kind of look at it like that, and I think that really helped us.
Is there ever, I think people feel like, you know, pro athletes, they never suffer a crisis of confidence. Your confidence is never dented, if you will. But when things aren't going right, is that something where you're questioning your mechanics as a pitcher? You're questioning, can I get away with throwing this pitch? Do you trust those pitches? Is that a situation for you as an individual? You ever get too analytical, or maybe you start questioning things you otherwise wouldn't?
For me, I feel like I don't get so much in mechanics and all that. It's kind of just, you know, like negative thoughts just creep in your head, and, you know, being able to, you know, figure out how to get them out. That's kind of what I deal with, and some guys are pretty similar. But yeah, like, you know, especially as pitchers, you know, we're practicing throwing every day. Like, I feel like if you get into mechanics too much, it kind of just, you know, you're not kind of going back to your roots, like, you know, just being athletic and, you know, just going out there and just throwing the ball. Yeah, I don't know. I think when you get a little mechanical, it gets a little weird, but if you can just kind of figure that out, and then I think it's all about the mental approach. Whatever you can go out there and just be positive, be confident, and all that, then it kind of takes care of itself.
George, I want to ask you this, man. I've had this conversation with, you know, a few different people, but is there any advantage to pitching Game 2 in a series? I'm talking regular season, right, where you get to a ballpark, especially on the road, you get to kind of take in all the sights and sounds. You get kind of a little bit of a blueprint of the guy. Let's say Logan's pitching in front of you with Game 1, and watch how he kind of goes after the hitters, or just get that top step view. Is there any, for you, do you think about that in regards to, you know, pitching that second game? Does it feel different to pitching the first game of a series?
For me, I don't think it's much different, but I mean, if you're, you know, second or third game of series, you you really get to see like what the hitters are, their approach to, who's ever pitching Logan, Wu, whatever. And you kind of, based on what they did, you can kind of attack your game plan from kind of what they did, what kind of swings they were taking, all that. So, yeah, it's super helpful. But it's also good, right out of the gate, just come out and just do your thing, and then that's always good too. But, yeah, it's good to see some games before you got to go in there, just, a little bit better game plan.
Hey, George, for you, when a crowd here at home is going ballistic like we've seen and like we heard last night when they came up with that hit, we've heard different players on this team, remark about it, just talk about, the juices get flowing. Are you a guy that's impacted by the noise that's created by the fans here, or are you kind of tunnel vision and tuning out? You don't really hear it. How do you respond when the building is rocking like it was last night after that big hit?
Yeah, I mean, the fans here are incredible. I think I speak for everybody. Like when, something big happens or, the fans really get into it, it really gives us a lot of energy. Like playing here, and then one of the reasons I really like playing in Houston is just because those fans are, the building's loud, like they get into it, like they're booing at you. It's just like, it just kind of gives you that extra little bit of confidence and energy just to kind of go out there and compete. And especially when you hear it at home, it's a great feeling, to have the crowd behind you. So,
George, going back to that start, man, it was so impressive, that second start down in Houston, and that was such a huge, pivotal game. And I'm calling that series down in Houston one of the most important for the Mariners, franchise in history. I mean, Wu goes out, just dominates. You go out, dominate again. And it was a little rocky, leading into that series. But do you push? Is that a situation where you just kind of put all the numbers or anything you've done aside the last couple of outings and just go out and know what's at stake with this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think right now we're just focused on winning. Stats don't matter right now. We're all striving for the World Series, and everyone wants that, and everyone's playing together, and just top to bottom, everyone's just getting it done. It's just really, really fun to see, honestly.
Hey, have you allowed yourself, I mean, you mentioned the World Series, that's always the ultimate goal, but the message last night in that clubhouse from everybody we talked to seemed to be, look, this is great, but we've got more to do. There's more work to do, which I loved hearing. But do you allow yourself to sort of daydream and feel what it would feel like to pitch a World Series game here at T-Mobile?
Yeah, that would be incredible. I think, it's great to, like, visualize that and, hope for that moment, but, like I said, I think the best thing that we've been doing is just kind of taking every, one day at a time, one game at a time. Come in, do your work, get ready to play, and we get after that day, and then we flip the page, you go to the next day. I think right now that's a big key for us, but I still think it's good. We're all thriving for one similar goal, but just. You got to just stay locked in one day at a time. I think that's the best thing to do.
George, I've got to sneak this one in. It's a pitching question. The split, you've gotten away from your split. You've gone more just a generic changeup, I guess. Are we going to see that split again? Like, is that something you're still working on in the bullpen?
It's an off-season thing.
Gotcha.
I just haven't been quite feeling great with it at the moment.
Right.
But that I'm going to try and get that back during the off-season, and right now, kind of just using the changeup in certain situations. But I mean, since I've been using the curveball and the slider a lot, and then kind of haven't really needed to use the split as much, and the changeup's kind of been like a show pitch for certain guys. But as long as I can execute with the two heaters and two off speed, it should be good. So.
Yeah, George, it's awesome to speak to you, man. We really appreciate you taking the time. Glad we finally got a chance to get you on the show, so we really appreciate that. And, of course, hopefully we are talking about another celebration tonight in that clubhouse, so get ready for that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.